This is WWE superstar Drew McIntyre, and you're listening to the WWE Podcast.
The champ is
the one that everybody wants, me.
Becky Lynch is going to WrestleMania. Claymore!
Austin 316 says I just whipped your ass. This is my iron. You're going to acknowledge me.
What's going on, everybody? Let's get into the mailbag here. Hope all of you are doing well as we roll into the weekend and say goodbye to September. Next week, or mid next week, Wednesday, I think it is October 1st. Where September went, I don't know. But here we are. It is getting into the fall season. We're in the heart of the fall season now. And if you're a wrestling fan, hey, we got Crown Jewel in Perth, not in Saudi Arabia. And then I think there might be another one. Is there a Saturday night main event thrown in there or something? And then, of course, Survivor Series thrown in November. But before we get there, I want to welcome you to all the show. If you want to go ad-free, patreon.com/WWE podcast is a great place to go. Not going to lie, for everything ad-free for as little as $1 a month. Yes, $1 a month. You can go ad-free with all of our content. Now, let's get with those emails, guys. This looks like it's going to be a pretty short mailbag. We'll find out in the end, of course, but we'll start with DJ because patrons go first, and he says that I'm going to do something slightly different, as I will mention my bullet points from this week's Joe Hendry TNA report. I'm currently typing this email on my way back from the hospital after having a medical procedure that I was at low strength, less energy, and very tired to record a Joe Hendry report. Well, first of all, before we get into those points, DJ, I hope all is well. I hope you're okay. If you were able to type the email, I would imagine that you're not in any kind of danger. And if you're heading back from the hospital, that's a good sign. So obviously, whatever's going on, I hope that it continues to improve, and no worries about the Joe Hendry report. We'll surely get back on track next week. So I want to mention that outright. But let's get to it. Let's get to the Joe Hendry report, courtesy of DJ, but voicing it through me. So let's see how this goes. Firstly, it was reported by Sportskeeda Wrestling and other credible news sources a couple days ago that Joe Hendry will be signing with WWE as a full-time talent starting in early 2026. My speculation is that Joe Hendry would be placed in a prominent role to become the new NXT champion to start off 2026 with a bang at NXT's January PLE called New Year's Evil, and then appear as the NXT champion at the Royal Rumble later on. I can't dispute that. I mean, you know better than I would, DJ. I know that you have suspected that he'll be chasing Obafemi for the NXT championship, and that I'm not going to dispute you. I do believe Sportskeeda. They've been fairly accurate in years past. So 2026 seems real. Joe Hendry is, I think, ready to go here. I mean, I really don't know what the holdup is. We don't always need talents to go through TNA and then NXT and then pop on the main roster and pop off and pop back on and pop back up. Sometimes you can just go with it. And I think Joe Hendry's been ready for a while, but I mean, I'm also a patient fan, patient than probably most are. And I think that I'd rather have a plan in place than having him just thrown out there with no plan. We've seen that before too. Alrighty, point number 2. After the shenanigans that took place on last week's episode of TNA Pro Wrestling, in which Joe Hendry distracted Eric Young to cost him a loss to Judas via schoolboy roll-up, the grudge match of Joe Hendry versus Eric Young is now official for TNA's next event called TNA's Road to Victory, or rather Victory Road, this Friday, tonight, live from Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. Number 3, this past Tuesday night on NXT, a backstage segment that had Joe Hendry randomly appearing dressed up as a NASCAR driver to align with 2 NASCAR drivers and the tag team of Cale Dixon and Uriah Connors of Chase U against all 4 members of Dark State. It then became a 6-man tag match of 3 members of Dark State versus Joe Hendry, Cale Dixon, and Uriah Connors, Unfortunately, Dark State got the win in 11 minutes and 37 seconds. And fourth and final point, he wants to make the main event title winner take all match of Obafemi versus Trick Williams, NXT versus TNA, in which the match ends with a huge brawl between NXT wrestlers and TNA wrestlers, the men attacking the men and the women attacking women. But the interesting thing here was twofold. Ricky Saints walks casually through the chaotic brawl and eyes Obafemi's NXT championship. Meanwhile, there was no appearance of Joe Hendry during this chaotic scene to end the latest episode of NXT. I like the fact this could lead to a potential NXT versus TNA War Games style PLE. That's all for now, and hopefully I'll be back to full strength next week to record the episode. And have a great weekend. Well, yes, you as well, DJ. Thank you for the update. Thank you for the play-by-play here. With the majority of us likely not keeping up to speed on the events of TNA, and some of us not NXT. So thank you. Thank you for that, and continuing to follow Joe Hendry and his debut. That apparently is, like I said, 2026. Thank you. Let's go to the next emailer here, and this is from Chris in England. Chris says, "Hey, Matt, just a few comments on the hope for a Cena versus Edge match. I was meant to email with a few things I'd seen a few weeks ago, but life always got in the way and all that jazz." I totally understand. There is a timeline for all the potential clues. This was possibly as far back as May this year, when WWE successfully filed to revive the Edge trademark. I thought maybe at the time he would appear in a 2K25 update or something. It's reported they had failed attempts in November 2024 and again in April 2025. Then you were talking about a match between Cena and Edge. At the time, he was and still is with AEW. I thought maybe a one-off. Fast forward to the last few weeks, both men were paying tribute to each other in some of their signature moves. Cena with a spear against Sami Zayn and a five-knuckle shuffle by Edge Adam Copeland at AEW All Out. I thought maybe some Easter eggs there were being planted. Now fast forward to today, and it's reported that Adam Copeland's contract expires in October this year. So Cena versus Edge on the 13th of December, the last time is now. And this is now well-known news, but some of these have already been covered by you. I'm behind on the podcast world, but if you've already talked about it, ignore everything above and just here to say hi. So hi, speak soon. Okay. Well, I have heard over the last several months of conflicting reports about Adam Copeland's contract expiration with AEW. But let's take yours at face value. Okay, just for the sake of argument, that Adam Copeland's contract expires in October. Well, then the wrestling gods have shined down upon us, because you can't tell me that Edge versus John Cena at the WWE main event on December 13th would not be the perfect way to send him off. I don't want to hear Edge being invited to come out and, he gets a one-off to just appear and shake hands. No, they need to have a match. There needs to be promos between these two. That means that we could see Edge, if this is true, if his contract expires, we could see him as soon as a month from now. We could see him building to the Survivor Series event. John Cena's only got 4 appearances left, which is nothing, right? But if this is true, Edge has to be his final opponent. I would argue, in a lot of ways, Edge was his best opponent. Yes, Randy Orton and John Cena had a long-standing program. But to be honest, it felt like that was driven into the ground to the point where John Cena, Randy Orton, they did it so much, even though they were good together, that it was just, it felt like WWE didn't even know where to go. So they just kept repeating, repeating, even though they worked very well together. With Edge, I could never get enough. They had a certain intensity that even Randy Orton and John Cena didn't have. They had a real, just a more authentic rivalry against one another. It was awesome. their matches seemed more violent. There seemed to be more personal ambiguity between the two. They just, I think, and this is saying something, had a better chemistry even than Randy Orton, John Cena. So what kind of match could they put on at this point? I mean, I don't even care. I mean, who cares? Because it's John Cena. It would be John Cena's last match. Like, who gives a damn? Because it's just about watching John Cena do what he does for the final time with one of his greatest, if not his greatest rival of all time in Edge. The clues that we saw, and I did see the clips of Adam Copeland on AEW doing the 5-knuckle shuffle. I saw also the backstage conversation with himself and Christian Cage, i.e. Christian from WWE, where he said he had to go, he's going to have to go. He's got something to take care of or something like that backstage, saying he's not going to be around for a while. And he ends up leaving. So that could be very much a clue as well, that he's about to just bounce to WWE for a very short period. Now, I'm not arguing for Adam Copeland to come back into WWE as a long-term talent, but I am arguing for him to come back at least for just, even if it's a one-off. Even if it's a one-off. Now, Edge in WWE just feels better than Edge in AEW, but Edge has got to do what, actually I should say Adam Copeland has to do what Adam Copeland has to do for his family, for his, his own personal interests, of course. But selfishly, I want him back, and I'd want him back on a short-term basis. But if this is a one-off, it's a one-off. If they just pay him to come back for a month to cut a couple promos with John and have one match in December and then go back to AEW or do whatever he wants to do, then that's fine too. And again, I'm not even worried about the quality of the match. This is the one time it doesn't matter at all. Doesn't matter. So we'll see. But the evidence continues to pile up. Their outright tributes to each other on each of their own respective shows, the chemistry, the storyline that Edge is going through in AEW right now, and if true, taking your news at face value, if his contract expires in October, then everything's aligning. Let's go. Let's do it. The pop for Edge, by the way, would be insane. Just as it was in 2020 for WWE when he returned at the Rumble. So thank you, Chris. Hope all's well across the pond. Let's go to, we're going to Kay from Toronto. Uh-oh. I think I know what the end of your email is going to be here. If you guys follow the show, Kay writes in every week, and he's a baseball fan. We'll get to that at the end. All right, Kay. Overall, you're still finding the programming is so-so. SmackDown was okay. WrestlePalooza was not good. And Raw just stopped at 1.5 hours after usually being 2+. However, I would say, Kay, that that makes the show more unpredictable. When you don't know the length of the show, you don't look at the clock and go, oh, well, they've only got 10 minutes for the main event. So, the match is going to kind of be quick and, they got to have a little bit of a run in or whatever. Like, you can kind of structure the show in your mind based on the clock. And when you can't do that, and WWE can just focus on giving you good, solid wrestling content and not having to put as much filler in because they have a certain amount of time they have to fill, I think that's a positive, actually. Okay, so it's the good. Reed and Breaker. Love them. And the true heel angle. Drew, but when? Not sure what you mean. Oh, I know. Okay. Very deserving of more. Yes, I completely agree. Drew, I will continue to say, I've been saying this for about 12 months now, 18 months. Drew. Stop screwing around. I know it's all about Cody, and that's been the problem, is it's been Cody or bust. And then Roman drops it, and then it's Cody. But you know what, man? Drew McIntyre would make a hell of a champion. He already has been a hell of a champion, but not in this role, which arguably is his best role, and we haven't seen him be able to carry a belt for a significant period of time. It's a criminal offense. Somebody needs to be put in jail for this. Like, there needs to be people need to be prosecuted and put in prison. Whoever is making these calls, I don't know if it's Paul Levesque or whatever, but it's just, I get it. I mean, I'm being dramatic and facetious, but Drew McIntyre, in all seriousness, does need to have a belt and hold it for a long time. And not just a U.S. or Intercontinental. I'm talking world title or undisputed title. Tiffy. She needs to get away from Nia and Jade, who I believe is a future program. Tiffany Stratton, I mean, Tiffany and Nia and Jade right now are intertwined in this. I mean, Nia Jax is vastly improved over the last couple of years from what she was. I've sung her praises and I didn't think I would. Jade has been inconsistent. You know what I got? You know what I feel about Jade? Tiffany is the most, I guess, quote unquote, complete, but she has her weaknesses as well, mainly on the mic and, kind of not being able to hold herself back when she's a babyface, giving her, like, she's got heel tendencies as a babyface, and that's not good. Her kind of obnoxious voice and the way she cuts promos, she's not very endearing at times. But again, none of these three women are catastrophically bad, but they all have their flaws. And they seem to be intertwined in this triangle right now that is likely going to end in Tiffany Stratton retaining, but I could also see Nia Jax regaining the championship. I could see it. All right, Alexa, Flair, and Chelsea and Alba is fun. Hope Piper heals well up. Yeah, I do hope. I mean, we covered that earlier in the week about Piper Niven and her injury to her neck, and hopefully that's nothing too crazy. But wishing her well, I would agree. But Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair and Chelsea, yeah, and Alba Fire, it is fun right now. There's no better place for Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair than together right now. Flair needs Alexa, and Lexi needs Flair, because Alexa brings something to Charlotte that Charlotte doesn't have, and that's a feeling of connection with the fans, or rather endearment to the fans. Alexa Bliss, it's almost impossible to hate her. She's so just, she's got the tie back to Bray Wyatt. She's good in the ring, of course, but she's just a charming, authentic character that's hard to hate. And Charlotte Flair is none of those things on her own when she's constantly chasing the championship and telling everyone to bow down to her. So she brings that, the piece that the fans have needed to cheer for Flair. And also Alexa, it gives something Alexa to do, because Alexa is, and has been since her return, very inconsistent in her booking as well. On TV, off TV. Is she going to join the Wyatt Six? She doesn't join the Wyatt Six. Okay, is she still got Lily? Is she still, it's something for Alexa to really grab onto, and that's one of the biggest women's stars of all time in Charlotte Flair. So that's good for both women. All right, here comes the bad. Cody is annoying. I swear that Kay is not a plant in my audience. Okay, I mean, yeah, he is annoying. He's been annoying for a long time, man. That the heel turn needs to come. The heel turn from Cody needs to come, because as I would say and agree with The Undertaker, who said it himself as well, he is a heel through and through. His best days are going to be as a heel, because Cody, unlike John Cena, Cody feels extremely phony at times. He is the embodiment of a corporate suit. Physically, like symbolically, he is a corporate suit. And he's just, I don't need to go on the 88th Cody rant. I mean, I know some of you out there enjoy it. Maybe I'll bring them back in short order. But it's been a while since I've gone on Cody rants, because I think I've got it all out of my system. I mean, my feelings on Cody haven't really changed. I think I've just even finally wore myself out of repeating myself, which that takes some doing. But Cody Rhodes, I mean, I don't feel any different about him now than I did a year or 2 years ago. He's still a corporate suit that is too mechanical on. When I say mechanical on the mic, I don't mean that he doesn't know what he's doing on the mic, or that he sounds robotic. He sounds just too prepared, too if there's such a thing as too prepared, that's what Cody is. Meaning it's like he rehearsed this in his head beforehand, even though he delivers it well. I can't quite put my finger on it. And of course, the suits. The suits are just, I mean, they're obnoxious. He is at least stopped bringing his dog around, which is a good thing. Okay, the Cena soap opera continues, and we have to live with it, but it has some good. Well, look, whether you love or hate it, Kay, it's almost over. A couple of months, and it's gone. A couple months, and you can just, say goodbye. All right. And he only has 4 appearances left anyway. I think it's 4. And that's like nothing. Right. So he's on his way out. I mean, no matter what you think of John Cena, 4 or 5, is it 4 appearances? I gotta look. But if it is, come on. I mean, you can live with 4 appearances of one of the greatest of all time, even if it is, this soap opera of everybody. Oh, thank you, Cena. Thank you. I mean, it is very repetitive. But we're all going to miss it. I mean, we will never be able to say again in our lives that we saw John Cena wrestle ever again. And that's kind of insane, given how long he's been with the company, even though there were years where he would show up literally for one night just to say that he continued his streak of wrestling for the company for how many years. I remember he didn't wrestle all year. Then he wrestled on like New Year's Eve just to keep the streak going. I think he was with Kevin Owens or something couple of years ago. But nonetheless, it is going to be pretty crazy to say that, John Cena is no longer wrestling. He's done. There'll be a Hall of Fame appearance. Again, I believe you'll see a John Cena appearance in the ring even after this. This is not the last time you've seen his face in the company. He will be a part of the company. Do I think he'll deliver an AA at WrestleMania again? Yeah, probably. I know that he says he won't do that. I think he will. I'm not saying he'll have another match. I believe him when he says he won't. But I fully believe that in future years, as John Cena kind of fades into our memories, that when he's eventually inducted into the Hall of Fame, which he very well could be in 2027, or be the head of the class in 2028, that we'll see a John Cena appearance, maybe an AA for old time's sake. All right. The couple's angle is awful. It renders deference for a male non-existent, as you have stated. Yes, completely agree. I'm not going to go over that again and again because I think I've killed that one as well, with the idea of men and women competing, but the men can't compete, so they just let the women beat on them. It's an embarrassment. There's no other way to put it. It's an embarrassment. No one's been able to come up with a good reason why the women are able to do this. See that? Like I've offered, if anybody, and I really mean that, what is the advantage? What is being gained by the company or the wrestlers themselves, more importantly, by just allowing the women to do whatever they want to them with no repercussion? None. Somebody explain to me what the benefit of that is. There's absolutely zero upside and all downside for me. And that's not just me in a vacuum. I think there's a lot of people that agree with me, but are afraid to speak and say anything because of the fear of being labeled as some kind of pro-domestic abuse supporter. That's my guess, which of course is absurd. But all right. I stopped myself. Self-control is coming, folks. Judgment Day, stop. It's done. Yeah, I've echoed that over and over and over too. The Judgment Day, appreciate what they brought. Edge was the mastermind behind that. We saw what that happened with Edge and everything else that came out of that. Dominic and Rhea and Liv and the great stuff that came through that, and R-Truth being a part of that, and Damian Priest being a part of that. It brought some really good, fun, creative. No doubt about it. I'm appreciative of the Judgment Day, but it's time to call a spade here and be done with the Judgment Day. They may need to have it just barely survive on long enough for Liv Morgan to return, which should be soon. But after that, we gotta just disband this group. Please. It's a bore. It is a snooze fest when I see them now. But what do I know? All right, nothing surprising happening at a PLE on a new network, but that they expect fans to pay a premium for. So much for hype then. Yeah, this is that was really surprising, right? They go to a new network and then expect us to pay more money for less. At least, again, that's one night. I understand it's the first night of many nights that are going to be on ESPN. I understand that. But they're asking us to pay, what is it, $19.99, $29.99, whatever the crazy price is for ESPN Plus. So they want us to pay for that and then pay for Peacock. And then if you have to get a cable subscription for USA Network, I mean, it stacks up. You're looking at like $50 a month, where the WWE Network, if you remember the price? I think we all do. $9.99. Now, of course, they didn't have live SmackDown or Raws. I understand that. But the $9.99 price point, how sweet that was, remember? Ugh. Okay. Let's see here. Part-time stars, but par for the course. Tag team wrestling is dying, in my humble opinion. Well, tag team wrestling isn't dying. It's always just going to be playing second fiddle to singles wrestling. It ebbs and flows. I mean, there are occasionally times where tag team wrestling may main event a Raw or SmackDown for multiple weeks. You may have a tag team match occasionally main event a show or even a WrestleMania. If you forgot, I mean, WrestleMania last year, we had a WrestleMania 40, though. I think it was, not 41. Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn took on the Usos and won the tag team championships. Tag team wrestling, it's not a dying genre of wrestling. It's not a dying subcategory of wrestling. I think it's just what it is, which is second place to singles wrestling. And it always seemingly will be, whether you agree with it or not. It's just been the way and the focal point of WWE, the way they've presented wrestling and what their priorities are, is single stars. So thank you, as always, for your great work. Our teams are tied, but go Jays, go. Cheers. Yeah. So as promised, here's my MLB analysis of what the hell's going on in the Major League Baseball here as we close out the last few games of the season. I think there's 3 games, including the one that's going on right now as the Yankees take on the Orioles. And let's see, the Reds or who are the Blue Jays playing? I got to see. Here's what I think is going to happen. I still think the Blue Jays are going to win the division by a game. And the reason is, number one, you guys have the tiebreaker because you won the regular season series. So you got the tiebreaker there. And I think you will win. Even if the Yankees win out here, if you guys win out and we're still tied, you win the division because you guys have the tiebreaker. But the Orioles are a pain in the ass team. They're a pain in the ass team that you need to be careful of. They have some good hitters. Their starters are, outside of their 1 and 2 aren't very good, but their bullpen has some scary guys. I really believe the Yankees are probably going to take 2 out of 3 from the Orioles, but it's not going to be enough. Because I don't think the Blue Jays are going to completely collapse here. I don't think the Blue Jays are going to go 0-3. I think you guys are also going to take 2 out of 3, and then we're tied, and you get the tiebreaker. It's kind of insane that you play 162 games and it still comes down to the last game of the season. Like, mathematically, I mean, that's just crazy. But that's my guess, and then we'll still be the number 1 wild card. We're locked in for the number 1 wild card no matter what, I think, at this point. Although the Red Sox keep winning, so we'll see. But I really believe that, I think the Blue Jays and Yankees are destined to meet in the playoffs. It's going to happen. So we'll see. But there's my, again, see, I can be a Yankees fan, cheer for them, but still be a realist. And I think the Toronto Blue Jays are probably going to be the ones to take the division. I just do. I think that's mathematically what is the most likely here. But all right, that will do it for the emails, everybody. Let's get to, I believe, before I say you have a voicemail, then I don't. I do want to check here. We have one. Yeah, we do have a voicemail. So we'll get to that. I believe it's Kyle from Baltimore. So let's get to him, and then we'll wrap the show up.
Hey, it's Kyle from Baltimore. So I wanted to kind of clear some deal a little bit. I think what happens on Friday, whoever walks out as the women's champion on Friday, let's just say it's Tiffany, she will face Stephanie for the Crown Jewel Championship, champion versus champion, very the same thing with Cody and Seth, champion versus champion, no titles on the line. So that's what Friday determines. So Friday's the championship match, and then the winner of that will face Stephanie for the Crown Jewel Championship in Australia. That's the situation. I don't think there will be that's only brand versus brand thing that's happening. I don't think, say Tiffany, I don't think she's going to go over to Raw to be a double champion. It's the fact that you'll have Stephanie versus Tiffany and Cody versus Seth. And the winner of that will be the Crown Jewel champion, and then they still remain their own champion on their own brand. So the one flip-flops is only for the Crown Jewel Championship thing. So, but that's just it. Just a call back.
All right, Kyle, short and sweet, but I'm glad you brought that to my attention about the Crown Jewel Championship and Stephanie Vicor. I don't know. I'm going to switch back and forth. Somebody's going to get pissed off. But Stephanie Vicor is going to be facing, I think, like you said, probably Tiffany Stratton. From a matchup perspective, it makes the most sense to have Tiffany and Stephanie face off. They'll have the best match mechanically. So I think that's probably what's going to happen here. And it'll probably be Tiffany who wins that. Again, the totally meaningless championship. I mean, I don't understand the need to bring in this imaginary championship, this like theoretical championship that has like actually no physical ramifications. There's no belt. I understand Cody got a ring. Who cares? No. Didn't Cody have a belt last year? There might have been a belt. There was. That's right. Triple H introduced one that, of course, Cody Rhodes is not wearing because it's completely meaningless and a waste of money to even produce. But it's a made up championship. It's invented. Now, all the championships are invented, yes, but this is one that's only defended once a year for a PLE that most people connect the Saudi Arabian area with, that most of us are not fond with. Most of us hear Saudi Arabia. We hear Crown Jewel and we think Saudi Arabia, even though this year it's in Perth. But I don't think there's a whole lot of value in the championship. No one cares. No one actually cares about the Crown Jewel Championship. It doesn't mean anything. There's no there's no lineage. It doesn't have any weight. It's just a thing. It's just a title that you earn that has absolutely no bearing on your career. It's never brought up ever until it's time to talk about Crown Jewel again. And then it's like, oh, that's right. That so-and-so won it last year. They're going to defend no, they're not. They're defending what? It's meaningless. It's useless. But if you look at this through the lens of who can have the best match, yes, Tiffany Stratton and Stephanie Vicor are absolutely the ones to do that. I think those will be the two to meet at Crown Jewel. There you go. Quick and dirty. Thank you, Kyle, and everybody, Kay, and everybody else from the email booth. And we will be back Sunday for your weekend review, regularly scheduled weekend review. I appreciate all the listens, all the follows. If you guys want to go ad free, patreon.com/WWE podcast, of course, is the place to go. Thanks, everybody. Talk in a few days.
Thanks for listening to the WWE Podcast. Don't forget to subscribe on your favorite podcast app so you don't miss a show, or head to WWEpodcast.com. And for all of these shows ad-free, head over to patreon.com/WWE Podcast. Until then, we'll see you next time.